how I overcame my insecurity with Gyno. And if y'all don't know me, I have Gyno, and if y'all don't know what Gyno is, it is just excess fat in your chest. And I don't have crazy Gyno, so my Gyno just shows up in my nipples and it affects the puffiness of my nipples. And you probably don't know that as a kid I was super insecure on my Gyno, like crazy insecure, like Gyno absolutely consumed my life. Every day what I thought of, what I wore, like I would start to wear like crazy hoodies and like thick fabrics just to cover up the Gyno so it wouldn't poke through. Like the Gyno literally controlled me. It controlled my life. And I remember this one time I went to a pool party and I was hanging out with some friends, and growing up I would be overly nice to people. How crazy does that sound, bro? I would be overly nice to people, so whenever I have my shirt off, they don't say anything about my Gyno. So I would make sure I was completely on their good side. I was completely their boy. So if they did say something about it, they would feel like such a jerk. So I would put them in a spot to where they wouldn't say anything about it. But I remember this one day, this one kid, I was super nice to him, right? And I was being super nice because I had my shirt off, and I was just so scared, honestly, just in the back of my mind. I hope he doesn't say anything about my Gyno. I hope he doesn't notice. I hope he doesn't think I'm weird in his head. Like, that's the kid with fat nipples. So I was just super nice to him. And we were around a bunch of friends, and I just remember the embarrassment that I felt whenever he called it out. And he was like, "You, bro, what the heck? Why are your nipples so fat?" Like, like the little, like trying to be cool around other people, like. And he probably didn't understand how bad that hurt me. That hurt my self-esteem, because that's literally all I saw myself as, and the fact that he called that out just justified that even more. So he said that to me, and I started getting heated, bro. I was so mad. I started flaming him. I started getting on his head, and honestly, the super nice kid that was just being super nice to everybody turned into this really mad and mad guy that was just flaming and getting on this dude's head. And it was all because my insecurities were projecting. They were projecting who I was. They were projecting that obviously I was mad, and it made me feel some type of way if I was getting on the kid's head for making fun of my fat nipples. But yeah, I was just always super insecure about my Gyno, and the fact that other people noticed it didn't really help me. I would never take my shirt off in the gym. I would always wear like pump covers and say, "Oh, I wait till I have a pump, right?" And then I just go to the bathroom to take it off because I'd be too scared to take off my hoodie in front of other people. Like, I would wear extra thick wife beaters so my Gyno doesn't poke through. I'd wear like a wife beater underneath a t-shirt, and I just like only wear t-shirts that covered my Gyno because I was so in my head. I was so the world literally spun around me having Gyno, and that's how I thought it was. And I think constantly, we are selfish beings. We think everything is about us. We think it's all us, and our insecurities are so magnified because of that. And that's rightfully so, because we're the main character of our own life. We're living our own life. It's understandable to think the world spins around us and people see our insecurities as we do, but that is not how it is at all. Everybody's in their own world, doing their own thing with their own little flaws and insecurities that they have. So I promise you, nobody's worried about yours. Whenever I take off my shirt in the gym, nobody's worried about my Gyno. Nobody's staring at it. They might look at me for a second and be like, "Oh, he has a nice physique," and look away, get back to their workout. I like to keep in my mind the 4-second rule. If someone sees you, you'll be in their head for 4 seconds, and then you'll be right out. I want you to think back to the last stranger that you saw. What t-shirt was he wearing? What pants was she wearing? You don't remember anything about them because that's so insignificant to you in your life and what you're doing. So I want you to always keep in mind that 4-second rule. It's just crazy how whenever we have these insecurities and they're constantly on our mind and magnified, we think that's all we think about. Going back to being this super insecure kid, in the gym, I would literally just wear pump covers. I would wear pump covers every day. I would never take them off because I was absolutely terrified of someone noticing my Gyno, thinking in my head, "Oh, he's weird, bro. He has like fat nipples, puffy nipples." And I would definitely not post any videos on social media with my shirt off because I was constantly in my head. I wouldn't even take pictures of my physique because I honestly just hated the way I look. Because even if I have built like a good physique for myself, I would only see my gyno. I would only see my nipples poking out from my chest. And it would be so constantly in my head. Now, I feel like I'm this person that doesn't care about what anybody thinks at all. I feel like gyno is the last thing on my mind, and if someone says something about it, it comes in my head and goes out the other ear because it has absolutely nothing to do with me. I obviously cannot change that I have gyno. It comes through one ear, it goes out the other because it has everything to do with that person and nothing to do with yourself. Because otherwise, why else would they call it your gyno? Why else would they say something about your gyno if they're not trying to genuinely be concerned about it or understand it? The only other reason is because they're being malicious about it, and would you even want those type of people in your life? Would you want people that say something about your gyno or about your biggest insecurities, say you have humongous ears? Would you want someone in your life that calls out those insecurities in front of other people for validation, to be cool? Genuinely, why would you want to have those people in your life? So from being this super insecure kid over here, I have become and grown into this pretty confident guy with this, honestly, someone that I think that I generate pretty good energy. I generate good aura, I guess you could say, the new trend on TikTok, the aura. I have crazy aura, plus 500 aura, whatever you want to say, some corny stuff, but I've been formed into this pretty confident guy, this guy that doesn't care about what anybody thinks, that doesn't seek validation, and he doesn't fear about people saying something about his gyno. And why is that? Honestly, it has everything to do with your mindset and your perspective shift whenever you're thinking about your insecurities. So I have a couple action steps for y'all, and I have a couple things to keep in your head always whenever you're worried about your insecurities or worried about your big ears or your gyno. Always keep this in mind. I want you to remember that 4-second rule where everybody's in their own world, everybody is the main character of their own world, and you're in their head for 4 seconds and you're right out of it the next. So nobody's worried about you. You can't even remember what the last stranger you saw was wearing. So the 4-second rule. Try to question yourself. Get curious and understand why you feel that certain way, why you think it's ugly, and kind of just question yourself to be able to switch that perspective of thinking it's completely ugly. Question yourself and try to build that confidence up, because that's genuinely how you build confidence. You question yourself and you form an understanding of why you feel a certain way towards that thing, how you can prevent feeling that certain way, and genuinely just get curious, question yourself. As you can see right here, I wrote insecure gyno kid. That's obviously not who I am now. I put an arrow to my head, maybe for the thumbnail or just for y'all that clicked on the video to see this, but I'm genuinely not this insecure gyno kid anymore. So from over here, I was this gyno kid. I was this really insecure kid that only thought about gyno, and that was the only thing on his mind. And over here now, I don't seek validation to other people. I don't worry about if people are gonna notice a small thing on my body, because that genuinely does not matter, bro. You have to start accepting yourself, start loving yourself for the way that you are now, and learn to look past your insecurities, whether you can control them or not. Because you're in control. You're the only person that can stop overthinking. You're the only person that can stop seeking validation and being scared of what people are gonna say about you. So question yourself. You get to know people all the time. You get to ask people questions to get to know who they are as a person. So why not do that for yourself? Why not form that self-acceptance, form that self-love for yourself by questioning yourself and form an understanding of why you're insecure with a gyno. Question yourself, become more confident, and learn to look past those insecurities. And remember that 4-second rule. And I promise you, bro, if you do this, you'll be able to not be that insecure gyno kid anymore. You'll be able to look past your big ears, your big nose, your yellow teeth. It doesn't matter, bro. I promise if you do this, you'll be able to look past your insecurities and become this person, become this confident person, this confident kid. So that's a little bit of value, a little bit of insights for y'all. If y'all liked it, subscribe. I love y'all, boys. I'm out. Mwah.